What's going on, guys? Alex here, Elevated Lifestyle Lab. We've got a new podcast out today, guys. It is a returning guest called Athlete's Dream is the name of the company. Nic Ash jumped back on the podcast to talk a little bit about the effects of COVID and recruiting and the state of what athletic scholarships are at right now. And we dove a little bit more into detail on how people can find out about different types of scholarships, about mindset, and a bunch of different things, guys. It was a great episode. If you haven't listened to the first episode, go back, listen to that. They talk about what Athlete's Dream is, how it became a company, and their vision of what it's going to be. We had a great time on this episode, guys. It's some great information for anybody out there interested in looking for an athletic scholarship, parents, students. If you're wondering on what do I need to do to get a scholarship in some type of athletic sport, these are the guys to call. They know what they're doing. They care about everyone they recruit, and a bunch of just a great bunch of guys. Highly recommend them. Go check them out. Athlete's Dream on Instagram. This episode is sponsored by us here at Elevated Lifestyle Lab. You can enjoy 15% off. Enter code ATHLETES at the checkout screen. Again, 15% off if you enter code ATHLETES with an S. Enter that code, get 15% off, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with your friends. We'll catch you next episode. See ya. All right, guys, welcome back. We have another podcast with you guys today, Elevated Lifestyle Lab returning. I'm excited for our guest today. It's actually the first time that we've had a repeat guest back on the podcast, so congratulations, guys.
Awesome.
That means the first one
Right.
went good.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex. Blessed to be here.
Yeah, so Nic Ash from Athlete's Dream, welcome back, guys.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you so much.
Yeah,
it's awesome
yeah.
to be here again.
Oh, yeah, thank you guys for coming on.
Breaking records. I didn't know we were the first ones.
Right.
First
yeah.
repeat, yeah.
Repeat,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, guys, I was excited to have you back on because I know we have talked since last time. You know, everything you guys do is I align with as far as helping younger kids move forward and trying to educate them through this process
Absolutely.
of moving through college and scholarships, and really just educating them on some options they have, because the more I delve into your guys' world, the more I realize, like,
Right, there's many facets.
yeah, many facets. And I actually heard a good comparative thing earlier that they relate looking for a scholarship almost like getting a house that needs to be remodeled, to where you can watch YouTube videos on how to paint the rooms, on how to place the tile, on how to fix the kitchen sink, and you can learn the hard way, or you can hire a contractor, which i.e. would be Athlete's Dream, to navigate these waters for you guys and find the people that need to do the correct job. So welcome back on, guys.
Thank you. Yeah. That's a good analogy. I've used the real estate analogy to people a few times. And been like, you know, if you wanted to sell your house or go and find a house, you would get a realtor to help you do all of that. And especially if you're looking to move interstate and you're open-minded to live in other states, it really is almost the same type of process. You're looking for somewhere to not just study and play sport, but go and live and, you know, blend in with that
Life
culture.
and actually create friendships and
That's it.
all of it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, too, you know, it's do it right the first time. You won't have to do it a second time.
Sure.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you said with the tiles or the painting, yeah, you could, but you might end up calling the professional in anyways.
Yeah.
So you might want to just handle it the first time correctly, because the cheap becomes the expensive.
Yeah, you get halfway done and then it's too late. Yeah.
It's too true. Yeah. And I mean, like, we were talking off air a bit, but like the timing at the moment when it comes to, you know, thinking about recruitment and working with people to, you know, be active on your pathway, that COVID sort of changed things a bit, you know, and all of a sudden it's 2022. It's crazy. And, you know, like, kids are signed for fall 22, and then, like, you know, early signing period for class of 23 is coming up in November. So it's like, wait, coaches are looking at class of 24 a bit, class of 25. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. That class of 25
amazing.
is already that freshman class. How quickly those 2 years just kind of
blew by.
Under the radar, too, almost. Like, everybody just, like, turned around, and it's like 2022, you say.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, here we are.
It's crazy, guys. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we didn't even ironically get into it last podcast of how COVID even interrupted and derailed the whole recruiting process. And, you know, I'm sure there was like expos and like different camps that normally probably go on where parents and kids can go and show off their athletic skill, and that probably went all out the window. So let's kind of dive into it, because we can we can hop into it on how it affected you guys and how it's hopefully getting better.
Yeah, it's definitely getting better now.
Absolutely is getting better.
I remember when they stopped playing college football for a bit there in 2020, and I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're not playing football. Like, wait a minute,
That's
Something big's
that's
going
the
on.
signal in
Yeah.
America. It's like, wait, if football stopped, there's got to be
Something's
something
going
wrong.
on.
And,
Yeah.
and I would say there's just a few months where it was like talking to families, and just a few months there of 2020 saying, we really don't know what the future holds for college sport. I always had total faith that the NCAA would prevail
Of
and
course.
it would come back at some
Of
point,
course.
but we didn't
Sure.
know 6 months, 2 years, 5 years.
Yeah, there was no direct answer to give them. Like, oh no, this is going to be clear, and definitely this time frame. It was a lot of shooting from the hip and just making
Yeah.
things work for clients that were already committed and still trying to recruit new clients at the same time. So it was a juggling act, to say the least.
It's true, and I mean, a little bit of the irony, some of the kids that came from Australia, even though that lockdown was on, it was their student visa, the F1 visa,
Yeah.
that got them like all the way to the other side of the world during the lockdown.
Yeah.
We had one swimmer go to Texas A&M on a full ride during the lockdown.
Oh wow. Yeah, I knew Australia was
yeah.
locked down tight. They
Oh,
weren't.
my
They weren't
God.
allowing people in or out. Like,
And
yeah.
we were
Yeah,
sending kids home at that time from universities. They were
Oh,
just there's
wow.
go home. We'll tell you when to come back. So that didn't
there was
help
that
much.
too. There was that process.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It
crazy
did-
times.
did
I
go
heard
both ways.
numerous stories of people getting locked out. I mean, I've had my wife's family is from Colombia, but she had a cousin in
Sure.
Australia, came here to visit her sister, and they did lockdown. She had an apartment there, had a job there, couldn't go back, and
Wow.
2 years
Yeah.
later, and she's still not back.
Yeah. No, it's it's a really interesting time. A couple of the countries around the world went so heavy on the lockdown, and then some
Yeah.
others tried to move out of it quicker. I know, like Malaysia, they were the first to call it an endemic. Denmark, I think, lifted all their restrictions, so we could go to Copenhagen for ice cream.
But
Yeah,
I think that's kind of where we are now globally, though. I've been seeing they're lifting restrictions more so now than enforcing. I mean, I know that's not across the board, but it's
Sure.
just that's a generally good sign when you see the restrictions loosening.
Sure.
So
yeah, I'm seeing that kind of across the board too.
and I
Yeah.
think here, except you got some portions of the country that got hit harder, whatever it may be. But I think a lot of America is just kind of back on track, especially
Yeah.
with sports.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the Super Bowl was jam packed.
yeah, oh yeah,
So I mean,
Having a
we're back,
successful Super
Yeah.
Bowl again. That's a
We're
bit of a
back.
barometer.
right?
Exactly.
Exactly. So
Definitely.
if they can do that, I mean, you can hold Saturday games, you can do college. So
And there's been, there was tournaments and competition, soccer, softball,
it never
baseball,
really
golf.
stopped.
It did continue,
Yeah.
like from the end of 2020 into
Yeah.
21, but it was just a very different environment. I think changes here and there. Like there is a crowd, there's no crowd. Parents can come, no one else can come, kind of thing. And so it was very unique as to who was or wasn't there supporting the kids, and so I think that was like a whole different
Yeah.
experience for them, like during that time. So, again, coming out of that, there's been amazing tournaments. Quick shout out to like the Honda Classic Junior tournament. Early January, we went along to that, and we got a really talented young South Florida golfer that played in that, Sam Brown. He was
Oh,
a
cool.
new client
Absolutely.
recently. He's a Boca boy.
yeah,
Florida strong.
yeah.
And another Florida boy recently, Howie in the Hills, a bit further north. But yeah, there's been phenomenal tournaments like those going on. That Honda Classic Junior tournament is really, really awesome. IMG Junior Tour,
Yeah.
the way they coordinate and organize all of that.
It's impressive.
I hadn't sort of been to some of those events before to even watch or recruit, despite everything we've done. And so to be able to get on the ground, hands-on with some clients and actually meet other people, talking to people from Vancouver and
Yeah.
kids from Italy and
Yeah.
South America.
Oh,
It's really
cool.
cool.
It's,
Yeah.
it's just
really cool.
crazy to
Just
see
like-
the pool of people that are out there,
Yeah.
parents, kids, and here in South Florida. But you might get somebody from Minnesota
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
competing against the
Yep.
same group of kids, and I think when you have that type of drive to be included in those tournaments and do the training, I don't think you can ever really stop. That's why I don't think really,
Yeah.
COVID slowed it down tremendously,
Yeah.
but sports is going to prevail regardless.
Yeah.
I think, too, that the COVID separated a bit some of those kids that were 14, 15 going into COVID and whether
Yeah.
or not they were really serious about
Yeah.
their sport coming out of it.
Yeah.
Some 16, 17-year-old, 18-year-olds now that are just shooting the lights out on the course, like putting in some phenomenal scores because lockdowns or not, they were just in the backyard hitting a ball into a net, you know,
Right.
snowing or not, or wherever they were based. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you
putting
can
in the
come out of a
grind, so-
lockdown or COVID and you're shooting 68, 71, 73, clearly you never stopped
Yeah.
doing something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Either
Yes.
that or those genetics are something special.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
Yep. No, absolutely. So yeah, it's a good time, I think. And even just like the last couple of weeks,
The
I don't know
energy.
about you guys,
The
but
energy.
it seems, especially on Monday mornings, it's like, wait, everyone's back a little bit more again. You know,
Yeah.
it's awesome. Like,
It's almost like on Monday morning, if it feels like that Monday morning, it's like, all right, Friday's going to be here quick. Like, it's almost like, you break out the calendar again and you see what times you have different things and it fills up. And before you know it, it's 7, 8 o'clock on the Monday. And,
True.
I missed that feeling.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
I missed it.
yeah.
How did
No,
it change
and
for you
then-
guys from when COVID started and there was, like you were saying, restrictions from even anybody participating? A lot of the tournaments were still going on, team versus team, after the initial lockdowns and stuff. But then how, just like you're saying, you went to the Honda Junior tournament to be
Yep.
able to interact with people that are
Yep.
traveling from all over. But that probably was a no-go for like at least a year, right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
The year before, I think it was maybe just parents could attend.
Yeah.
So it was super cool. And what's amazing about working in junior sport, I mean, if you pick golf, they're just mini tour pros out there.
Basically.
Like, you see
Basically.
these guys and girls just lacing it
I
straight down
I
the
couldn't
middle.
beat
and-
half these kids.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. And some, some super talent, kids getting, really getting hot starts in their rounds, getting out there early, making birdies on the front nine. It's like, wow, these kids can play.
But
Like,
that just kind of goes towards what we were saying. Even in that lockdown, there was still people signing up to Athletes' Dream. So
Yeah.
that's why I say there's some people out there, parents and athletes, it's just you cannot stop it.
Sure.
They said, okay, the pandemic's now. We've been working for 10 years. Even if we got to take the year off, it's going to pass, and they just never stopped. And luckily, they put faith in us, and we delivered, which is a blessing to get through the pandemic in itself. A lot of people can't say that, so we're
Sure.
lucky to even
no, it's true.
be here to
It's
provide
true.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, and there are other recruitment companies that, in our field, in the college recruitment, that perhaps didn't exist anymore
Right.
after the COVID because, I mean, we were blessed. I think that we
Absolutely.
had a super foundation pre-COVID, so
Sure.
yeah, I mean, coming out of it to be able to keep meeting parents and they're like, wait, you noticed our son or daughter and their talent and what they achieved, and we're
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Of
like,
course we did. I mean,
Yeah.
it shines. It's
yeah,
The
like-
numbers don't lie.
they
yeah.
don't.
and I think it's a surprising thing to the parents at this time, more so than it was a few years ago, because they're shocked and flattered and happy all at the same time
Yeah.
that their son or daughter was identified,
Sure.
for sure. And I mean, we know that all the coaches can't do all the jobs. Like,
No.
I mean, yesterday I was talking, one amazing guy, like, without naming too many names, like, he's leading an elite JUCO soccer program in Texas, and he's moving to an elite 4-year private school in Alabama. And that coach is recruiting kids for the current school in Texas for the year that he's about to leave. But then he's recruiting kids to the new school that he's walking into, and he's like talking to kids in Europe and Australia and Asia and,
All
and
over.
South America. And I'm like, man, these coaches, like, they love what they do, and
Yeah.
they're so
You have
committed.
to at that point. It's,
Yeah, at
you
that
can't
level.
fake that type of dedication.
Yeah.
You
No.
drive yourself crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They just love it, and
Yeah.
it's so awesome that we get to mix with these people.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Can we address that elephant in the room about how elite some of these junior colleges and NAIA schools are becoming? I mean, just
Yeah,
coaches,
that's a
if
good
that's
point.
the dedication to the coach that the coach has to the team, imagine the dedication he looks for in those roster players. Like, that sounds like a general. Like, you're not going to slide on his watch, you know what I
Sure.
mean? So that just
Yep.
goes to show that
Yep.
so many of these kids, they call it falling through the cracks, but I don't think they fell through anything. I think these schools lucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine they have a full-time day job on top of trying to figure out, doing their homework on who's doing what, where they're coming
course,
from,
of
and then
course.
Yep.
they clock out at the end of the day. But then the clock starts again of making calls and talking with the
Right.
students and figuring. I mean, yeah, it's all. I
Absolutely.
can only imagine.
Take off one hat to put the other hat on, and you're like, all
Yeah.
right, coach mode.
And it's a really good point. I mean, the junior college, the depth of talent
Yeah.
at JUCO and
Yeah.
NAIA, we all want to talk about D1 and the big names, and
course.
even some of the top end D2s. People think they're D1 when they hear the name. They're shocked that it's a D2, but
Because of the caliber of player.
right, yeah, and so you know, to look at JUCO, to look at NAIA, and the level of results that some of these schools are achieving, it's pretty staggering. Like, I mean, we talk a lot about golf here because we're in South Florida. Obviously, there's a lot of sports, but
Shout out football.
yeah, yeah. You know, but like the Seminole State women's golf team, NJCAA #1, like they won the 2021 championship. We happen to have a girl, Poppy Harrington, going there this fall, so we're pumped
cool.
about that. But like Coach Tino up there, you know, she took her team to South California just recently, and they played in a D1 intercollegiate tournament. And you know, Seminole State junior college team against 40 D1 schools were fourth.
Yeah, I was gonna say 4.
Wow.
Yeah, top 5 finish as a team, and I was a little bit surprised. I mean, I know the
Like
scoring.
you're saying, you can't fake the numbers.
Yeah.
No, they're beating Drexel and Georgetown and
Texas A&M was on there. A
Yeah.
lot of California.
Yeah,
schools.
USC was
Yeah.
playing great schools, and you got Seminole State, you know, JUCO school in Florida beating all of them. It's like,
That's awesome.
yeah, so
There's a lot of talent out
'Cause
there.
yeah.
I remember being in school, and it wasn't that long ago, where, you know, if it wasn't D1, people didn't even really acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And then,
Sure.
like, you know, I unfortunately took a different path because of it, went to school and all of that. But if I just had the knowledge that these D2 and NAIA and junior college institutions even existed, it probably would have changed a lot of the thought process my junior and senior year, because no one was there to educate us on it. No one talked about it. No one said, well, actually, you know, it doesn't have to be a full ride or nothing, or there are other schools that will offer you a full ride that aren't necessarily Clemson or Alabama.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I just, and the people we come across, there's a lot of people we come across too in our business that's like, man, I just wish I knew about you guys 3 years ago, because now I'm graduated out of school or whatever it may be. So
for sure.
it's just it's very cool how far these schools have come.
Yeah, and I mean, recently too, we've had some clients come on board who, I mean, again, it's the old let's talk D1, but
Right.
there are some clients that come on board who their parents are so academically focused.
Yeah.
They know that, you know, oh, maybe they're not going to, like, their mission isn't to become a LPGA or PGA Tour player or an MLS soccer player. Like, the mission is get the degree, truly enjoy life in college,
Be a
and really
doctor or
Yeah.
something. Or,
right, yeah.
Yeah.
And the academics weigh heavy, so it's like D3 options. We've had some people coming on board recently where the parents are pretty open about that, and they're like, the expectation is so just for anyone that is ending up listening to this as well, like, we're very, very diverse across the board.
Yeah, education
From-
isn't a one-size-fits-all situation for anybody. I mean, it's glad you touched on that, because
Yep.
if you're thinking, well, I'm not shooting 71, 68, well, me neither.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't. So again, anybody that's listening, like Ash said, there's so much depth in these college institutions at every level, and
Yeah.
because of COVID and roster spots, they are very, very hungry for just quality caliber players across the board,
Yeah.
Yeah,
men and women.
And time will tell moving into 2023 how coaches go at their pace of recruitment.
Yeah.
But I would say this year still, a lot of the signings and a lot of the finalizing of paperwork, it's been really late. Some of it, like, you know, pre-COVID, it was always really, really early. But at the moment, it's definitely like you see more people finalizing their paperwork in May,
Yeah.
June. You know, last year we had some people in July, like right before August, finalizing.
It's late,
And it's
right?
like, wait a minute, it's just like 2 weeks out from, you know, arriving on campus. Yeah.
It's like one more backflip.
Yeah,
Just
right.
give me
One more form.
One more.
Yeah, it touches on a lot because I'm sure people get wrapped up in the idea of these big schools, right? Like they want a
Yeah.
full ride to Clemson or to Alabama or to the big schools, not knowing that if they were talked to with people with experience like yourself, like there could be a school that they've never heard of in a state that they really like that could fulfill everything. Like maybe they can't
Absolutely.
get the full ride at Clemson, but maybe they can piece together an athletic/academic scholarship at a junior college that could really pay for everything, right?
Right, absolutely. And change their, like, we call it the foot in the door, that
Yeah.
freshman year. Like, you're in college, you're going to be playing, gathering video, and actually being able to prove yourself to be recruited to that D1 school. You know, again, if you've really shown your wares in the JUCOs. You know?
Yeah.
So, Yeah.
And I don't have the stat on hand, but the amount of people, men and women, that will start at an NAIA or a JUCO, and then after 1 or 2 years, literally just transfer to a top 100, top 50 D1 because they get that exposure. That now they have a collegiate coach on their side that knows something, that they're like, okay, we can hone this ability that the player may have not thought to work on. So it just opens so many doors, like Ash said, just to get your foot in the door is open.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it just leads to so much now through the ability to transfer.
Yeah, even with experience and having the ability to have highlight videos that you could send to new coaches, and just to feel how it works in that level. Like, I'm sure that, just like I was saying, experience is the king. Like, just get in there and try it out, and it's going to push you farther.
Because a lot of athletes get to that college level, and we all know from high school to college, that's a totally different ceiling.
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of players
get up. It's always a big step up.
A lot get nervous, and the other ones kind of meet expectation right away, and they're just like, all right, this is my game. I got this under control, and only experience teaches that.
Yeah.
You got to do it to know you can do it.
Yeah, so. I mean, even the other day, talking to a coach, Talladega College in Alabama, like such an awesome school, and he's sending through, trying to recruit a couple of different players, male and female soccer players, and it's just amazing the quality of the facilities they have there.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
40 minutes out of Birmingham, Alabama. Like, my brother went to UAB in Birmingham, and we actually have another female soccer player going there this fall, which is awesome, going to UAB. So it's like, and then again, you see the photos of the facilities, the gym, the basketball arena. It's just like, oh, everyone would be watching basketball in there. You wouldn't miss a game.
Yeah.
New soccer field, like epic.
And if you didn't know better, you wouldn't know. You know what I mean? You'd be like, oh, I wouldn't know this is a junior college facility, because you're looking at the bleachers that are padded with the hardwood floors with the logos all over them. If that's not good enough, that's what I'm saying. Blessed to even play at that type of facility, let alone on a full ride.
Yeah,
I mean,
the training facility, like all the above.
Bro.
Yeah,
absolutely,
crazy.
Yes, yeah.
So has it? I know that you said now this year's lightened up just a little bit. What's kind of changed on loosening up the COVID restrictions? What's benefiting you guys now?
Yeah, I just think in general the freedom of play of tournaments, be it golf, again, pick a sport, golf, soccer, softball, but people are back out there doing it. Track and field as well. The fact that the NCAA managed to get different championships under their belt last year. They still got the track and field through, the swimming. I don't think they even missed. I don't think any of the sports missed a national championship throughout the whole time. So that's a really, really good thing. And I think it's the freedom of the tournament play now. Being out there and being able to interact with parents.
The crowd too. You can tell things are back by the amount of cheers or boos you hear, I suppose. But you just see people lining up, and the communication's there, and they're talking, and they're next to each other again, and it's just, that's how I see the most difference there, just with the energy level and the just happiness and willingness to go to the events again, to actually be like, okay, we can go and we can have fun and we can participate. That's where I see the most energy difference, I'd say.
Absolutely. And I mean, we're focusing on America, of course, and American sports, but worldwide there was shifts, and major changes in Europe, in Asia, in Australia, and again, all the sports across the board, from the professional ranks down, just everybody saw it on TV, like no one's playing in front of crowds.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
they got the
weird.
fake tears, and the fake claps.
The like eerie NBA era, like time where they had the cardboard cutouts, and it was like, are they playing in the video game, or
is the simulation breaking?
Is this real? Yeah,
it's awesome. So I think some of that was just, it was something we all had to experience together. That was the other unique thing from my point of view. Like, the whole world
seems like a lifetime ago too, now that I think about it.
That's absolutely
crazy.
Absolutely. So
quite an experience.
A lot of hope coming out of this time, isn't
most
there?
Definitely.
Most definitely.
I know the kids enjoy, especially the lightened up of the restrictions, because even with coaching the golf season last year, 6 months ago. I mean, just to be able to go into a school bus and ride together and
Right.
and be able to, like you're saying, go out and
What
just
a
play.
novelty.
I know you'd think it was just a simple thing, but
Yeah.
and you can definitely tell that the kids, and they were affected really bad by this. You know, being isolated and not having the social interaction and mask covering up, and you can't tell what people are looking like or emotionally.
I think that's the age
Yeah,
group that got
yeah.
hit the hardest, just
Yeah.
because of those reasons right there. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
so much depends on what you can see from
Mhm.
emotionally, like when you're talking
Yeah.
to somebody, and
Yep.
that's why I say I
Yep.
think the high school kids, middle school, that age group, they probably got hit the hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think like obviously the teachers do such a great job in all the schools, but I just think all of us as young adults, being the good example to these
Yeah.
kids, like
Yeah.
it goes beyond the recruitment and really setting that good example as the leaders, and
Sure.
I think it's important. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, just give me a little background, because I know we talked about it previously in the last podcast.
Yeah.
It's just the process of how you find people and how you build their profile online. And
Absolutely.
we didn't dig too deep into it, and the more I've kind of jumped into your guys' world, the more I've realized like how beneficial it is for the kids to get started at a younger age, which you're always thinking maybe freshman, sophomore year, you hit the growth spurt, and maybe they're thinking about it then. But really digging into it, I mean, even like the 7th, 8th grade, like if they're in any sport and they're really committed to it, whether it's golf or lacrosse or something like that, like even just having those kids thinking about like what state they might want to go to college in, like if they're a multi-sport kid, like maybe leaning onto one sport or the other.
Yes.
But even just a thought, because I was thinking back when I was in 7th and 8th grade playing football, like I didn't even think of like college wasn't even in the talk. But some of these kids, like they really do have a lot of potential, and that needs to be on the radar. And even having video footage, and so maybe you could give us just of like people starting that young. What's the process of like? Should they reach out to the coaches themselves? Obviously, contacting you guys is the best move. But what can they do to kind of get their foot in the door and get the process started of doing that?
For sure.
Contact us.
Yeah, right. That's the best option.
That's the best option.
There's always that.
Short answer.
No, I mean, he's right, but there's always that answer. The story of Tiger Woods. I mean, and a lot of young kids these days will even feel a bit like, oh, I'm a big Brooks Koepka fan, but for us older guys, we love Tiger. And I mean,
Hurts to hear.
he was writing letters to Stanford at 12.
Okay.
And so that's how Tiger's story went, and he did play at Stanford, and
and he was swinging a club 6 years prior to that on top of that too. So
right. So it just goes to show it can never be too soon to truly reach out to one of the best schools, and I think that's a message to any kid in grade 7, grade 8. And
any dream too. It's never too early to have an idea or a collective of what you're thinking or want. Especially with sports.
Yep, and I think like some of those elite schools, if you pick a Stanford or even a Clemson, or if you look at the Ivy Leagues, the Harvards, the Yales, Princetons, and so on, obviously freshman year, you absolutely need to be on their radar. I mean, if you're not on those coaches' radars, filling out a recruitment questionnaire, sure, per the NCAA rules, the coach can't speak to you direct as the student athlete.
Right.
But it's exactly what we're doing as the agency is.
Exactly.
Connecting elite players with top 10 D1 schools, getting those questionnaires done in that first freshman, sophomore year, so that come communication time with the coach at the start of junior year, you're well on that radar, that they know
the names established, your times. They they already know where to look for tapes and film.
Right.
You're on the radar, and that's with anything that's clutch. It's crucial.
Yeah.
And pretty much, I'd say every athlete we communicate with that's a freshman or a sophomore would say to us, I can't talk to a coach yet. And we say, we know. That's why we're reaching out.
That's what we do.
Because we can help bridge that gap at the start.
And you'd be surprised how many people we talk to, and parents, and not necessarily in any particular sport or gender, but a lot of people think, okay, freshman year, that's too soon. Sophomore year, that's too soon. It isn't.
Yeah.
That's really where a lot of the dedication really starts to grow. Not just sprout, but it's already there.
So true.
Because you're already in high school. You're probably already trying out for one of your high school teams, whether it be JV or varsity.
Yep.
but it's not too soon. It's perfect timing. Now, if you're 7th or 8th grade, maybe that's too soon.
Yeah.
You might not even hit a growth spurt.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's very serious because it puts you year and a half, 2 years above and in front of the rest of your peer group, in front of the coaches that you want to be in front of. So it's not a crunch time, last minute thing, because we all know if you wait till last minute, you procrastinate, you're not going to get the result you expected.
Sure.
It's a really stressful time as a senior too.
Already.
You got all those exams and everything going on, and clutch games of football, basketball you got to play in and turn up for on Friday night, and so it can be stressful trying to then, even working with an agency, it's just stressful as a senior starting that late. We obviously have made the pathway unfold for many seniors, and even some who, they're like, I just graduated, I need to be at college in 6 months.
Oh, no.
So we under-promise and over-deliver. We always say, God, that's impossible, but,
Make it work.
Here we
find
are.
the way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Because at some level, skill always speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're cream of the crop, top 5%, top 2%, you're gonna make it regardless.
Yep.
But everybody else, even if you are like ridiculously good at whatever sport you might be participating in, if you're not on the radar, if you're not in front of the coaches, if you're not making noise, if you don't have that film or whatever it is, how can they recruit what they can't see?
Right.
Film's a big point.
Absolutely.
You touched on it before, Alex and Nick. I mean, the film is huge. Like, this is message straight to the student athlete.
PSA.
Yeah, it's like if you play a team sport, as an individual, you can easily gather highlights videos, individual highlights. But if you play team sport, coaches are inevitably, they want to see a full game. So if you play soccer or lacrosse, they want your parents or your coach to help you coordinate a camera, center pitch, and just neutrally filming the game, and they know that you're number 11 on the green team. And coaches will truly take the time to watch you play, not just the highlights and what you did, but how you read the play, where you positioned yourself. They really want to know how you know the game and how you're reading what's going on. So
off-ball defense. Are you standing around picking daisies? Are you reading the field, and are you being proactive or reactive? These are all things that we look for, that coaches look for. It's not just they scored a goal, they must need a scholarship. There's so much that goes into the breakdown of that film and footage, and I don't think a lot of people really realize the hours that go into film.
Yeah. And we cut and edit countless hours of film for athletes.
Right.
It's always easier when they send you a big video and say, hey, at this time and this time and this time and this time, but often they don't. They just go, I had a really good game.
Here's a 3-hour tape.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Wade through it. But the finished product is always very exciting, and the parents love it, and so we do cut and edit a lot of video.
Yeah.
And,
So that's why we say, if you have film, please, entirety. And even if it's training, I mean, don't waste time. If you're in the backyard hitting into the net, or you're running ladder drills or light drills or whatever it is, record it.
Yeah.
They want to see that. They want to see any and every. The same way if you were going to hire somebody, just like if you're going to hire a contractor, it's a lot of people don't make this connection, but what we do is very similar to, you wouldn't hire a plumber to paint your wall.
Right.
There's so much that goes into learning how to paint that wall and what to do with it, that so much time goes into it.
Yeah.
One thing I will say to any potential student athletes listening, doing something super cool on camera, like if you can kick the soccer ball into a trash can from 30 yards away and you can do it 3 times in a row, or
something that sets you apart.
You can sink one from the halfway line just off on a whim, and on a basketball court. Sure, you might be the phenomenal player. Golfers tapping a ball for 100 taps under their leg. All those weird little things that, coaches love to see. There's super skills, idiosyncrasies that set you apart as a character, as an athlete. And so I think, we love seeing that type of stuff too. You know, all those added skills. Yeah.
Especially with technology these days and social media, I'm sure you guys try to, instruct them on what to post and how to post, and make these type of videos to only help them excel into their sport.
Not encouraging danger, but a golfer holding it off the roof of his house.
Right. Yeah. We're not encouraging that.
Do not try it home.
Yeah. Or
but it
in
would
the
be
water
really
up to your
cool.
knees, next to an alligator. Yeah. And then, so how does it work
Yeah.
when the student comes, they find you guys create their profile on Athlete Stream.
Yep,
Do
yep.
they have the ability to then upload these videos to that profile, or do they send them to you guys and then you strategically chop them up and then put them into that profile?
Yeah, absolutely. Bits and pieces of all of the above. You know, like
yeah.
some young kids are so savvy with their video
Yeah.
editing these days too, and the way they can actually some kids could cut and edit stuff quicker than we could.
Sure.
And some youngsters, they just send you a YouTube link and they're like, hey, here's my clip. Here's another challenge though. They then edit their own video all the time, and then the previous link isn't live on their website because we're building for each client an athletestream.com/your name
Right.
website link, and
Okay.
embedding the full match videos, the highlights, all the academics, and
It's basically a sports. It's a sports resume to the college coach that we build for the student athlete. So even if they were to send us like a YouTube link, we still then have to take that. We have to make sure that maybe the choice of music wasn't quite appropriate
Yeah.
for that coach.
that can make way more of an impact than you realize.
Yeah,
too.
so
Oh,
there's
wow,
a
okay.
lot
Yeah.
that you still have to. Okay,
Amazing.
great. It's a great edit, but we have to still go through the 3 hours and watch it and build for you, not necessarily just highlights, but just tricks of the trade that the coach is going to look for.
Sure.
That
Yeah.
if you send him a 3-hour video, might not work the way you think it would.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and like I said, I mean, some of these athletes, they're so passionate about it and so driven at 16 that's some of them, that's all they're doing. Like, they're filming everything they do. They're cutting and editing it. Like you say, social media,
Yeah.
posting it on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok.
Oh,
Like,
that's
all of it.
crazy.
All of it. The dedication alone is like,
it's
you
like-
must be a good athlete. If you have this
Yeah.
much time to edit,
Yeah.
yeah.
I hope your training is hard.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, these kids are raised with it. It's a wild, because doing even this podcast and editing and all this stuff, like, I've had to teach myself and learn and figure it out, and
Right.
it's just kind of like ugh,
Yeah.
But these kids are just they know how to do it
Second
so
nature.
fast. Yeah,
It's
They
always
grew
in
up
their
with it.
hand. Yeah, we
Yeah.
had dial up. Like we didn't.
I
We
know.
had to play outside like it was a punishment to these kids.
Yeah, I
It's-
know.
It's
It's
different.
completely different. So how does it work on the coach's side, as far as seeing the profile? So, like, at the beginning of the years, since you guys have a database of coaches you deal with, do they say,
Yep.
hey, Athlete Stream, we're looking for XXX? Do you guys, and then you shoot them over people in your database, or do they have like a way to search? How does that work?
Yeah,
Bit of both.
Both. Like, coaches certainly reach out. They'll see a player through our Instagram. It's happening more and more all the time that way.
Okay.
That's the energy I think we were kind of talking about earlier. Just the
Yeah.
back and forth with more.
Okay.
I always figured as an agent, like, you're really going to be always the one pounding the pavement more, reaching out to the coach, out to the coach.
Mm-hmm.
But coaches, as you touched on there, I mean, they do reach out to us more and more. They're looking for a particular player. As we've
Establish that
yeah,
connection with the coach.
we've sent them a player before.
Yeah.
They've had a good AD athlete on their roster
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
of thing, and so they tend to reach out and say, hey, who have you got right now? We really need a new goalkeeper, female goalkeeper, or got a great. We just graduated a great lacrosse goal pitcher up there in Jacksonville, and now the pitcher's up there, Ash Harwood. But yeah.
Showing Florida love. That's
Yeah,
just what we
Yeah.
Florida, Jacksonville, Seminole State, all of it. We have another girl down in Lakeland at SEU Flames as well, playing softball. It's just awesome. Really
yeah,
awesome.
that's great.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get somebody over at like Southern or something just so we can
Yeah,
say it's like
yeah.
Florida's ours.
Yeah, Florida's been good. It's been like the Wild Wild West here with all the COVID and stuff. Like, luckily, it's mostly been kind of open. So
Yep.
it's been.
Yep.
I can imagine there's a lot of activity here.
Yeah. No, definitely.
But I would say a lot of it too is it's very, again, just a trick of the trade finesse. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a coach or a team we have a very, very, very deep connection with, but it could be somebody that we've come across, or like Ash said, we have worked with in the past, and we just know that the client we have would fit that team like
Yeah.
a puzzle piece.
Sure.
A
Yeah.
lot of it has to do with just that intuition of
Mm-hmm.
knowing the game and knowing the system, and just knowing that that piece fits there. Like, that's
Yeah.
where that should go.
Yeah,
And then there's always going to be those top 50 D1 athletes who
Just pick one.
every roster in
Yeah.
the top 50, they all want to pick that athlete. All
Yeah.
want to recruit them. So,
yeah.
there's definitely that too. And I mean, those athletes, it's interesting because you think, oh, they'd just get recruited, like they would just get seen. But, you know, it's not so much the case. Like we've touched on that, you know, we've had phenomenal national champion level athletes in a number of sports who their passion was to go to college. They're trying to get seen, and they weren't being seen by the coaches, you know. So it's amazing how you can be on that level, but you still really need that support of an agent to wade through and find your way to that right opportunity.
We see it every week. I mean, Instagram's perfect example. You'll see, again, male or female, 15, 16, 17 years old, winning a state district or state title trophy, and it's got 13 likes.
Yeah, you're like,
that's true.
You just want a championship, and your family knows.
Yeah.
You should be in contact with these coaches, but again, you're not on the radar, so how would they know to look? Which is
so
just
true.
Yeah.
representation is so crucial.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just that's just the facts of the matter.
And I mean, you know, with the way the youth have grown up with the social media, every kid that's class of 24, 25, 26, 27, you see them on social media, they're all dying to be seen by a coach. They just want to be recruited.
Yeah.
And they're posting every video already of their swing or their lap time, you know, running the 800, and it's like, it's incredible how many of them are, because of social media, they're on that platform trying to be seen, but it's
like having your own like TV channel with your own commercials.
It's amazing.
And they might be great commercials, but again, if you're not hitting that target audience of who you want to see your commercial, no one's going to buy your product.
No.
And the product is a great, stellar athlete that are everywhere that we try to find. That people call them, you know, what's the saying, like diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
No, it's not a diamond in the rough. That's just a stud athlete.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Right.
Like, it's just. Again, it's not Clemson or Alabama, so I must not be good enough, and that's false 99% of the time.
Yeah.
You just weren't in front of the right coach because you didn't know the right people.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense to be able, even like we were mentioning, starting when you're young, just sending letters like Tiger did to the college, whether it's sending videos or filling out recruiting questionnaires. If you start that, I mean, it just makes sense, right? Because like you're saying, coaches are already looking at class of 2025, 2026. So, I mean, if you haven't submitted a resume, a video, just to put something in front of their eyes to where maybe they glance over it this year, but then they see that same thing again next year, and it's like, oh, let me click.
It's like,
I
remember that.
Yeah, I remember
that
Nick.
Sent the video about the something or another, but something clicked.
To get in front. Yeah,
exactly.
It plays a huge role because traditionally you would think like, oh, that guy's good enough. He's gonna get, like you're saying, like he'll get recruited. Of course, why wouldn't he? He's running a 4.3. He's catching these crazy things. But if you, like, it's just like a marketing thing. Like if you think you're gonna go there, but they don't even know you, then what's the opportunity? What's the chances that you're actually gonna get there?
It's like applying to a job. Like if you put in one resume and you don't call what's one thing we were always taught? Call back.
Yeah.
After you put that resume in, after that interview, if they don't call you, call back.
Yeah.
You have to somehow set yourself above the rest of the pack.
Yeah.
Like, imagine all that now, and you're represented by a professional. You're way above the pack now.
Yeah. And I mean, truly, like starting the recruitment early, it shows that level of commitment to the coaches. That you are that switched on and that ready to go at that young age. Like
there's somebody they want to invest a scholarship in. At the end of the day,
we all remember being in high school, and the great divide starts to happen, where there's like the athletes that are going that way, and then the athletes that are becoming students. You know, and so I think being with a recruiting agency like ourselves, Athletes Dream, you know, we absolutely put you on that path and get that commitment, you know, for the coaches, like.
And what do you guys recommend for kids that, because, you know, as the more I was diving into this world, I was realizing that a lot of high schools don't really help with the recruiting process. Like there's so many just, you know, public schools that just are not into this world. And what would you, if somebody was listening to this and they're just like, my coach is not giving me any highlight reels, he's not getting my name out there, he's not doing anything for me. What can I do, guys? What can I do?
Well, I think that's one of the common misconceptions, too, is that every high school kid hopes or thinks that their coach will do something, you know, and maybe their high school coach, out of the goodness in their heart, says, let me try and get you. I know a coach in Texas. I'll help you, but
it's not an obligation.
Dozens of kids that he's telling the same, you know, for one, and there's not a network of thousands of universities to, you know, open the doors to. So, you know, I think that's, you know.
It's a big part of it. But what I would say to them is, you can't let that stop you.
Yeah.
You have mom, or you have dad, or you have a brother, sister, cousin, friend, somebody you could pay $20 to film your game, and now you do have footage.
Yeah.
True.
You can't just let, oh, well, it was tough, so I didn't do it. Where's that going to take you? Especially in the sports world or college world, you're not even gonna. No.
Right. Right.
So at that point, get somebody to do it. Call a professional like Athlete's Dream.
Yeah.
We will help you out through the entire process, start to the day you check in for your first class. But start with something small, like make some film, mess around in the backyard, film practice, film
Working out, whatever.
Whatever it may be. It's something that you can put to a coach.
Too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of fell off.
Yeah, I think the next generation, there needs to be a big push getting them in the gym.
Yeah.
Well, we raised a bit tougher and a bit different guys. I don't know.
I feel like it.
Right. I don't think we got to really complain as much about
all these
as much.
phenomenal college training facilities and you know, kids get into LA Fitness, get a membership. And,
But like we were
training.
saying, when we were growing up, I don't think the facilities really existed like they do now.
Sure.
Like there wasn't like an LA Fitness on every other corner, or a Planet
Right.
Fitness
Crunch.
or Crunch or whatever.
Yeah.
Like we were like hitting each other with sticks.
Yeah.
Like that. Like, it was a little different.
Yeah.
Kicking a marble down the road.
Right.
Yeah.
Kicking rocks. Like,
Well, I mean, it's just recent when most of the sports, back in, I did a podcast with this guy that used to be a snowboarder. Like,
Sweet.
back 20 years ago, the snowboarders, they would just snowboard. The golfers would just golf. Like, the whole concept of lifting heavy weights to build core and to do this other routine and building muscle, like you're saying, the gyms and stuff, it just was a different concept back then, and now it's really taken hold over the last 10, 15 years. Tigers kind of changed that, and there's certain people that have really Bryson, DeChambeau.
You took the words out of my mouth. He's an animal.
Yeah, I mean, just to be able to show what you can do with just lifting weights, man.
Yep.
It's like you're saying, it's definitely, they got to pick it up.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think we could encourage the youth to get lifting.
Health is wealth, and I mean that.
Yeah.
Like from
High
the
school
bottom
athletic
of my heart,
directors,
I mean
get a gym program. going
Yeah,
for the
right.
kids,
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Not too young, but freshman year, let's get lifting.
Sure.
I remember rowing crew in freshman
I
year
was
and
gonna say,
training
playing
really hard.
freshman
Like,
football, we had dedicated gym time that it was mandatory. Like you had to be there.
Yeah.
We had ergo rowing tests even at that age where, I know I did. You would throw up after the test at 15. Like, you'd really put yourself through your paces. Like,
Sure.
I feel like when we went through practice, it was like paramilitary. Like, if they didn't almost kill you, it was like a personal insult to the coach. It's like, okay, tomorrow, you might as well not show
And
up.
I don't think high school kids today know what it's like to be on, like, a crew rowing camp and have a coach beating on your door at 4:30 in the morning, like, get the boats on the water, get rowing, like, get going, and you're like, the sun's not even up, it's freezing cold. Like,
Even the two-a-days, I feel like, aren't really the same.
No.
Right.
Like, I remember at the end of the second practice coming home and just laying on the floor and just like, I think I'm dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you woke up the next day.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, you didn't it wasn't like a shower, you just fell asleep and you're like, I survived.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. True
The Cowboys
exhaustion.
better call after that.
Yeah, exactly.
It was tough.
Yep.
Which is why we so much just big ups to every student athlete that just wakes up every day and just does it, because they don't I don't think they realize it yet, but you're setting a tone for your life.
Yeah.
And these are life lessons that you don't really unlearn.
Yeah.
And if you can lead in sports, you can lead in life.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
young athletes, legs and core, then back.
Yeah.
Then worry about your arms.
Yeah.
Every day is arm day.
Yeah, right. Chest day.
And mental health too. We didn't really talk about that growing up either, but just, it doesn't have to be deep, but take 10 minutes a day, get yourself situated where you're just by yourself, decompress a little bit. You don't need 3 hours, but do something you like to do. Take a little stress off yourself, because you don't get to be 16 again.
Yeah.
Like, and trust me, like, being an adult's awesome. You can eat ice cream for breakfast and stuff, but there's a lot of stress. So enjoy being 16. Don't go crazy on yourself. Just enjoy it. Enjoy life.
We do feel that's a really great point. I mean, we do feel that, you know, Athletes Dream, with the stress and the pressure we take off families.
Yeah, give that to us.
That recruitment
We'll
time.
hold that for you. That's
Yeah.
our job. That's what we enjoy doing.
Focus on being a teenager.
Yeah,
as Nick
sure.
says, like, be the kid and play sport and go to school.
Yeah, have fun, enjoy yourself. Don't
We'll-
go crazy, but
we'll bring
Enjoy
forward the
yourself.
exciting offers.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, like you had said, like, you know, even doing this stuff is at a young age really develops you for later in life, whether it's getting your resume ready, because like the school doesn't teach you these things. Like,
Right.
how do you go apply for your first job? How do you open up a bank account? How do you sign a lease over? How do you have a roommate? What happens when the roommate doesn't pay you? Like, you don't learn.
it always
these
reminds me of
things.
the end of
true.
Step Brothers when they split up. He's like, well, how do I do laundry? Do I put it in the dishwasher?
Yeah.
What do I wear if it rains?
Exactly.
It's like these are things like they don't teach you.
Yeah. So to really take advantage of it, you know, just the simple fact of writing a letter to the college, to the coach,
Yeah.
and making these videos,
Yes.
and just the
Yep.
even speaking, like that's a big. I feel like, at least I've heard about it being a big problem with kids just not being social, as you know, and not being able to interact in person, or getting super anxiety or
They're so
anxious
tough
to
on
talk to
themselves.
coaches.
You
Yeah.
can fail.
Yep.
Failure leads to some of the greatest successes I've had in my life.
Yeah.
It is okay. It's not. It's failure when you quit.
Yeah.
And I don't think that really registers with them all the time. Like, all right, so you didn't win.
Yeah.
That doesn't equal failure. It's like, learn from it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the best learning tool you can have. Now, don't do it that way again, and you won't get the same result. I just wish they'd kind of soak that in a little bit more. That's okay to fail, I guess.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
really is.
looking back, that's the best way I've learned anything.
Yeah.
Whether it's failing and losing a job, or losing a sport, or
Whatever.
it is. But it's
and kids get so wound up these days.
So
you know, young
worked up.
kids,
So
like-
worked up.
But it brings us back. We were talking about the COVID before, and I just think that, you know, I mean, being 16, we will remember that, and it was just free wheel football training Tuesdays and Thursday
Yeah.
nights, and a
Yeah.
game on a Friday and or
Yeah.
a Saturday, and recovery on a Sunday, and you know, and then school, and it was just there'd never been an interruption to any of that, and
sure.
Yeah.
Parents
good point.
and-
Good point.
so I think that picture a river and like the damn wall that COVID put in everything, and you know, you've then got all these young athletes that were stuck in their room, and I don't think we can comprehend like 18 months. I mean, it was a year where some kids didn't even go to campus.
They didn't
Yeah,
go
yeah.
outside.
It was
like
like-
they really like
some states completely
like they
locked down.
didn't go
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah, so I think that was a really interesting time, you know.
Yeah.
So athletes, you know, they need to be more energetic, motivated, whatever it is in their mind. You just got to mentally go that next level.
Yeah.
You've just got to be able to like step up. It's like,
Sometimes you just gotta jump in the pool.
yeah,
You just gotta jump in.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah. So, you know, I think that's going to be a reality for a lot of athletes in the next like 12 months, especially, where anyway, like we're touching on at 15, 16, that the great divide happens, and the kids that are really committed to those that aren't.
Right.
And then the COVID's amplified that. Like we said, there are some kids just shooting 68s at 17, 18, and, you know, some aren't. But, you know, there's tons that are just right there.
Yeah.
You know, they're just shooting like 1 over, 1 under, even. That's phenomenal scoring. Or,
Sure.
you know,
And I don't think they realize like that specific group of kids. It's not that just you're close.
Mm.
You're standing in the doorway.
Yeah.
Like you shave off 2 strokes off that tournament, you're up another 5 places. And again, those are the kids that they say, oh well, Clemson doesn't want them because they came in 10th.
Right.
Yeah, but you put them a year at like a fired junior college, and guess what?
Yeah.
Now they do.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they honed that skill that some people saw, maybe some didn't, and they just shaved strokes off, and now they're winning the tournaments. They're like, oh, how'd that one slip by us?
Yeah.
Because you didn't even care to look.
Yeah.
That's what it
Very
is.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you didn't see them, and that's
Or if you're like a striker out there, you know, and you just having nil all draws for the last 6 months. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I hit the crossbar again. You know, keep getting the footage, keep getting it, hang in there, go again.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
about
that close.
eternal effort.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
big thing. And you touch on mental health, too, and that's what a lot of kids are struggling with that these days. And it's not talked about enough either, and
Yep.
especially with all the lockdowns and, you know, people went through depression and
that really
the lack of
amplified
oh,
it,
it's
didn't it?
crazy. And the kids don't understand it. Like you said, they're always go. They're always attracted to the dopamine hit of TikTok and
Right.
social media.
Right.
And they get trapped in these thoughts of anxiety, and they're
Yep.
like, oh, I can't go play my sport. I can't go see my friends on campus. So,
Yep.
you know, you said it best. Just take 10 minutes, you know, and I remember I'm just trying to put myself in back when I was 14, back when I was 16. For anybody to tell me to like take a deep breath and sit in silence, I would have laughed.
No, I hear you. Yeah, I would have told myself I was crazy.
But now I can, after going through
really the
all
answer.
this experience, it really is.
It's the answer.
It really is.
Yeah.
Just think about what you're thinking about, man. I love that quote. It's because you just, instead of like worrying about what you're thinking about, like think about what you're thinking about and then try to break it down from there. Like, am I feeling lonely? Am I feeling not worthy? Am I feeling depressed? Well, why am I thinking that? Did I watch a stupid Netflix documentary that made me think of this? Or did a stupid bully say something on here? Or like, should I turn off? Like all this stuff. Like it really helps to think about what you're thinking about. Take a few minutes for yourself.
Yep.
Because the anxiety and depression and
write
loneliness
it down.
is
That's
crazy.
something I still do to this day. If I'm having jumbled thoughts or I'm not normal Nick and something's up, I know it sounds corny, but I'll write it down. I'll draw. I'm a grown man with coloring books. That's some of the best therapy I've ever had because
for sure.
you unplug. You're sitting in silence and you're focused on something that doesn't have to do with the rest of everything else.
Yeah.
And it's like a mental recharge. And, you close the book and you're like, okay, reality still exists. You didn't escape anything. But you can now go about it with at least a little bit of, in your mind, it's like, all right, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
No, it's true. And I think as a young athlete, like, you can feel the pressure more too.
Yeah.
Sure. It's coach, it's your peers.
Expectations.
Especially if you're like a leader on the team, and you're your captain even,
It's hard not to
lot
put
of
it all on
pressure.
your shoulders at
Yeah.
that point. I mean, there's got that personal responsibility. You wear that C or that A on your chest.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's like, I think they sometimes feeling all of that too on top of the school and,
then
and
just being
throw
16.
COVID
Yeah,
in
just
there.
You couldn't pay me to go back, bro. You couldn't pay me. No way.
So it's like, I just think it can be a lot. But to any of the young kids out there listening, I mean, it's going to be okay. I mean, I always like to get, I like to get centered under God and, maintain your faith all day and know that everything will unfold really, really well. Like, whatever it is that you're working on or you're giving everything to, like your training and stuff, just it's 1,000,000% faith in that you have the ability to do that because, you've got God-given talents. That's why you're already producing those results out there on the soccer field,
You're already
golf
in
course,
that position.
basketball court, like, so.
And I just want to add out that, and this is for adults too. This doesn't just stop at kids, but like we tend to forget. It's like, oh, it's hopeless. Somebody cares.
Yeah.
Like you have, even if you don't know it, there's somebody that's like, hey, you know what? Ash is all right.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all we need is just like, hey, what's up, bro? And you're like, hey. You just need somebody to be nice. So I just want to point that out. When you think all is lost, there's somebody out there
Absolutely.
that cares, and they give a damn. They do.
Absolutely. We care about you as student athletes.
Absolutely.
Very much.
Just the things we, with the clients we have when they're, we're not going to put anybody's business out there, but there's some struggles with adjusting and you're away from family and
especially out of state schooling. I mean,
and it's such a blessing to be in the position we're in to help them with that when they don't necessarily want to talk to mom and dad because for whatever reason, but they had a rough day in chemistry class and they're just like, I don't want to go to practice, but we're like, you have to go to practice. So go.
Yeah.
But it's such a blessing to be in that position to just help.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just help. That's
So
such
true.
a slept on word. Just help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you just be the ear. They sometimes, like you're saying,
all
like
they
just
need.
to be able to write it down or draw it out is the same as just vocalizing it to somebody. They don't even have to rebuttal it at all, but just say, okay, and that sometimes you'll just feel a little bit lighter after. It's,
Somebody, you know why?
Yeah.
Because somebody cared.
Yeah.
That's all it took. That's all it took.
Yeah, we're all searching for love, man. That's what it's all
what
about.
it is. Amen. Yes. Love, hope, and faith.
Yeah,
That's
man,
right.
definitely.
Yes.
So how do once the profile's up on your website, how can they drive more views to that? Because it's open, it's its own webpage and stuff. Do you guys recommend for the player themselves to go out and try to promote the link to that, or that's what you guys take control of?
Yeah, and that's probably where we set ourselves apart from, to name them, like the NCSAs or like the ASMs of this world who just, they really just want to rope you in and honestly, quickly get your profile on our website. Coaches are going to see you. You'll get all these views and likes.
Right.
But the reality is coaches out there, in my experience in the last decade, they're not jumping on recruitment websites to look for athletes. They're too busy out there on the course, at the soccer field, lacrosse, whatever the field is. They're out there with their team or they're coaching, teaching in class as well during the day. So again, we really take control of all of that. And whilst our clients' websites are public in a sense, like if someone has that link, they can look it up and see it.
Right.
We don't really have them on our website. So that's one of the biggest differences. Like if you speak to a true like do-it-yourself recruiter, they're going to be like, oh no, your profile's on our website. The coaches are going to find it.
Yeah.
We encourage the complete opposite because
wow.
we as agents are doing all the work for you behind the scenes and truly speaking to the coaches on the phone, on the emails, setting up Zoom calls and sharing Zoom calls with the kids and with their parents, you know, and with the coaches. And then when you're sitting there on a Zoom call and that full ride offer is, you know, laid out from the coach to the athlete, it's a phenomenal experience.
Yeah, I can imagine. That'd be awesome.
Because at the end of the day, it's who do you want to see your website? Do you want college coaches to see your website, or do you want everybody else
Every
that
other
has
kid on
Wi-Fi
the-
access to?
It's
Yeah.
true.
They're not going to get you a scholarship.
Yeah.
They're not going to help you get to that next level where you're trying. The coaches are. So we build the websites with that in mind, catered towards your strengths, like the questionnaires we hand out. What were your grades? What were your extracurriculars? What awards did you win? Are you good at, you won science awards. Okay. So then we gear it towards that. So it's a very personalized touch. So once the coach picks it up and we're in contact with them, they already know what they're getting. So there's no surprises on either end. That's why transparency is so important. And if you look at us, transparency.
Yeah.
Other places,
Yeah.
That's
With
that's
your
why
guys-
they're still waiting on their scholarship.
Yeah. And with you guys, you only take the people you're working with directly that have the profile on your site. It's not like you're trying to get every athlete to just make your profile here.
No.
We
It's
can't
only
make
the
that
ones.
promise. We're not
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
to listen. If we sign 5,000 kids and didn't deliver on 4,500 of them, what does that say about us?
Right.
It's
right.
true.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
why we say every size does. It's not a one size fits all because no athlete is the same as the next one in any way, shape, or form.
No,
Sure.
real case by case accountability basis. I
Yeah.
mean, it's so important because to touch on the Athlete Stream Online thing a bit, but like, because when you're helping lots of people all over the world, whether they're coming to college in America or studying online in another country, every single individual is a human. That's
Yeah.
a student athlete out
Yeah.
there with
Needs,
a mom and
wants,
a dad and a brother and a
concerns.
sister, cousins, uncles, aunties, and-
Yeah.
and all of that. And so, like the university is accountable to every one of their students, we really, really take it to that level with our relationship building with the parents, and
It's just it doesn't feel right not
Absolutely.
to.
Yeah,
You know what
no,
I mean?
it's true.
It's-
It's like
They
yeah.
they entrust us so much, just with all of it. Really, like Ash was saying, we kind of take control of the website, of the social media. Don't do anything stupid on your social media. Don't post that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Blood, sweat, and tears, man.
Yeah.
And I think time and just success has reflected that more so than anything you can fabricate or make a claim. I think we mentioned it last time, but like, what is $500? Yeah, what does $500 get you?
right.
I'm being serious.
No, it's
Just
true. It's as an
How-
online in recruiting. I mean, an online profile. It's just very little amount of help or direct contact.
You're gonna get
gonna
these kids a scholarship for $500.
Yeah.
So,
You're better off just making your
Okay.
own website at that point and just doing it your own. Yeah. Because it's just getting lost
You have
in
to
the
think
sea
about
of
it.
people.
If it sounds too good to be true, it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
It
true.
is.
That's true because we speak to so many athletes every week, and for whatever reason, like it was even someone in Mexico the other day just really, really, really wanted to join the program, but we just had to be realistic and just lay out that, hey, this is the platform for you. This is where you're at. This is what you need to achieve for us to be able to deliver. Because
Right.
we don't have. There is no magic wand.
No.
Like there's no
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
There's really not.
it would be so much
So
easier.
it's like we wish we did.
They sell them in Orlando. I don't know if that would work, but we could give that a shot.
As we say, it's that real.
Yeah.
The student athlete has to be able to do. At the end of the day, it's like
They have to perform.
and like
We
Yeah.
don't sell dreams. We
selling,
don't. We're based
selling
in
a student
reality.
athlete to a coach. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Yeah, we're-
results speak for.
Well, that's where the expectation you probably
Volumes,
have to be
yeah.
pretty honest with the kids because just even the numbers of a full ride are really low if you look in the big picture. It's like people getting a full ride,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
super low, so it's really break down the expectation of like
From
Yeah,
jump,
absolutely.
the first
Yeah.
consultation, expectation's a word that gets
Yeah.
tossed out there because we don't want to leave that first phone call or Zoom call and you're like, all right, we're going
Yeah.
D1,
yeah,
and we're
Yeah.
on the other side like, not going
but
D1.
yeah.
Yeah, realistic timelines and realistic scholarship expectations are words we throw around a lot with parents, for sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
And I think a lot of parents are, more so than the kid, because they want that D1 name.
The
Of
athlete's
course, they
just
want to
like,
be on
yes.
TV. But
Yeah.
then
Get me into college.
But then but then you hear something like, "Well, that might be a full ride," and then the parents like, "Oh yeah, NAIA, huh?"
Right. No, it's true. Yeah.
It's that simple
Or we
because
don't want
it
you
makes
in that state,
sense.
or we don't. Yeah.
Because parents have a more realistic view of life, and like you said, those numbers add up very quick. I mean, even for a state school, I think it's 24,000 tuition a semester on average for America, and that's just a state school. So,
Sounds about right.
so 4 years, that's $100,000.
Yeah.
Rates climbing under this government.
And that's with anything else. It is not getting cheaper. So it's like, not for nothing, we have our program, but like you have to look at both sides of it. I mean, it's an investment either way.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to expect these coaches to invest in you in the form of some sort of incentive to come play ball for them.
Right.
And you have to expect something for somebody to get you there, because if you could do it by yourself, well, you wouldn't be wondering why you don't have a scholarship.
Yeah.
It's that simple. I mean,
No.
it's just kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Representation's huge, man, with anything.
Absolutely.
Somebody that knows what they're talking about helps.
And so we had touched on it briefly on the last podcast, just on mention, but the program that just got approved by the NCAA, NIL, so the names, images, and likeness. So for the ability for student athletes to now use their name, image, and likeness to be able to try to make some money. Have you guys ran into that since the last time we came on?
I still haven't.
No.
Not yet. And because, again, I think that's going to be heavy in the football at the top end.
Basketball, football, basketball.
Yep. And
TV dollars, where the TV dollars are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we are, we've helped a lot of great female basketballers, especially. But as we mentioned a bit, I think that'll be big in football, and a lot of the football recruitment at that really, really, really top end.
Yeah.
Like so much of it's very, very organized,
Sure.
very coordinated, and so I think that's where that will really impact it eventually, the name, image, likeness stuff. I do.
Well, I think
that's where I see it.
I think some I would imagine college students that really are going to the academic side, like they know they're going to go play college sports, but most likely they're going to be academic. But I think if they can look at it on building their community or building their brand in that aspect, to where maybe you're not going to go sell 1 million jerseys, but maybe you've built your name enough over those 4 years that you're in the college or in high school, whatever you are, to be able to get out and have your own training camp or to have your own
swimming academy.
And really have a place in your community.
A lot of these guys love opening restaurants.
Yeah.
They do. And that's something, too. If you get out there as a college kid and just say you're from Texas, big football state.
Yeah.
If you get out there and they love you and you're the quarterback and, you're not paying for food at that town anyways, if you can get out there and you get in front of a steakhouse or something or another and then, say you don't make it to the league or whatever it may be for whatever reason you want, that's a whole business plan.
Yeah.
Just off of sports.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, even podcasting like this, different ways to be able to market your name, consulting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
more power to them.
I can see that being of course, the guys that are bringing in the TV time are going to make the big bucks. Yeah, I can really see that. That'll get the big sponsors. But on a small level, like your local running shop, they're like, I used to see you on College Sunday or whatever, and it's like, we'll sponsor you, or we'll host a fun run or whatever it may be, and
or
whatever.
We want to shoot a commercial. Could you say 2 or 3 lines and just smile and hold a football or whatever? It's like, why not?
Yeah.
So it's really giving them the control of it. So I do like that.
They're adults.
Yeah.
And they have most of them 90-something% are represented with an agent of some sort, or they have some sort of somebody looking out helping them. So if it makes sense and it's not hurting anybody.
Are they still making NCAA football video games? Are they still doing that with the EA Sports?
They did. I thought of the same thing.
Yeah, because that's what
you're
comes to
gonna
mind.
have to put their names on it.
Is
right? Because they never had anybody's names on the back of
in the
jerseys because they
get
couldn't
a-
market them.
game,
Okay. Interesting.
if they pick you and you're a player in the game, you should get some benefit from the game.
Yeah, Well,
that's what I'm
Some
saying.
sort of like
It shouldn't
kids
just
should.
it shouldn't just say number 2
Yeah.
quarterback. It should say Ash Smith, number 2 quarterback. Like, you should be able
yeah.
to market that if you're playing that game for whatever
Yeah.
it is. I mean, it's only right.
No, for real.
I agree
Especially
with- I
with
agree with
especially
that.
with VR and AR coming to life. That's going to be
Seriously.
more
I
and
mean, it would
more.
be tricky to keep up with at EA Sports if you're listening, but an NCAA all-encompassing sports game would be so popular, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? Like, imagine like all the college sports and like everybody playing. NCAA, go for it.
You know what that reminds me of? It's almost like
Create
the
a talking point.
the Wii Resort, but just college sports.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I would buy that.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
I'd buy that.
I mean, we
Just-
never know what's coming in the future. I mean,
You
you know, it's a
don't.
different era. Like,
Yeah.
it's not 1995.
Well, everything's
is it?
going virtual reality or augmented reality. I mean, if you just saw
For
the
sure.
UFC is going to do a metaverse fight, and with a headset on,
Really?
sensors on their
Wow.
hands, and it's going to be like a full metaverse interactive VR
I think-
type of
Wow.
fight. Like,
Wasn't
Wow.
the Australian Open talking about doing that too for tennis?
I'm not sure. I mean, they may
I
have.
think
they
they
may
are. I
have.
really think
Really?
they in
Yeah.
the metaverse. Yeah.
wow, yeah. So it's only gonna
No, Decentraland. I'm sorry, Decentraland. Especially like I don't know how they're gonna accomplish that. But
yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
And I've seen the same with baseball, because now they got the baseball bats that you can simulate ball
Right,
practice
right.
in your room, hitting the
Yep,
virtual ball. I
yep,
mean,
yep.
it's getting crazy. Yeah.
Anybody that wants to see me in Nintendo 64, that's where I'm at. Everything else, you'll probably win. I don't know, man.
Oh, that's awesome. There's that online. Obviously, there's the whole online world, but then I think the metaverse and that goes so far beyond online.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
I think everyone's online, but yeah, that's a
Yeah.
really interesting concept. And then, just in my opinion, you're taking away that real personal interaction of the sport.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back to really go back to the gladiator days, Colosseum. They were really playing. That was a sport. You really.
There was just
competed to
something about
win
having
and
that-
in front of the crowd.
That
and,
clay or dirt
like-
in your hands and the smell and just
Yeah.
the sounds.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a different. Just thinking about it, like it would be a different world champion in a sport in the metaverse to a world champion in real life. The
that's
person
crazy.
in their living room may be able to do God knows what to perform through a digital platform.
That's true.
But
though.
to then go out onto the golf course
Yeah.
or the NBA arena and actually dunk the ring or
Sure.
and play NBA, like real big difference.
Huge.
That's a crazy. Did you just think of that?
Yeah, I
was-
hadn't thought about the metaverse much before. But
Have you
now
been
we're
like
talking
holding
about-
that in, or did you just think
I
of that?
just thought of that because we're talking about it. I haven't even thought of the metaverse really. I think.
I didn't
Yeah.
even. That never even crossed my mind.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
No, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could put it on a headset and then get on a treadmill and go run the marathon. The
Right.
Boston Marathon's completely different than actually going to run in the Boston
Seriously?
with
Marathon.
all the wind against you
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
atmosphere and everything that's different that goes with it.
Yeah.
They've had cycling races like where people all around the world are in their home on the bike.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Peloton
yeah.
bikes and so on.
With the
Yeah, and I just think, again, actually go out there in the Pyrenees and try and climb the mountains in the Tour de France.
Sure.
You
Good
know,
luck. Yeah.
I'd be down I'd be going backwards.
For sure.
I would just
on a
look
BMX
up.
bike.
I would just look up and be
Yeah.
like, nah,
Not me.
nah.
Yeah.
See y'all boys at the clubhouse.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely interesting times with tech and all that stuff. But yeah,
Yes,
yeah, so hopefully
yes.
some cool ideas will come out of the whole point of the college kids able to use their name, even to pay for
Yes.
you guys.
I
Right? You come
hope
from
so.
not you can't afford to have an agency, but you can get creative with these
Right.
things, right? A
True.
freshman in high school could have a 500,000 followers on TikTok. Well, you can pull together a couple grand to
You
to
can
pay
market
for-
that,
yeah.
Right,
paid
right,
ads,
right.
whatever it
So,
may be. I
Yeah,
mean,
so there's it's
Yep.
just got to get creative because there's a lot of
Absolutely.
opportunity out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. No, 100%, 100%. And
I'm just glad they can finally profit off themselves.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause-
Because it's their name. Why would they not be
Right,
able to?
right.
and it's not like they're not busting their butt every day. Anyways, that's why they're playing at that school. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Especially if the football, the 80,000 fans for real. I mean, that's high pressure. A
crazy.
19-year-old kid
no,
just
Yeah.
taking the snap.
seriously.
All the pressure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I don't even
Yeah.
remember what I was doing at 19, but it wasn't that.
No,
so.
no.
It's pouring beers in a pub in London. It's
Yeah.
also
Sounds
a
about
great
right.
life experience.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, let's touch this real quick because I know you have. We had touched briefly on it before, as far as the new division, as far as Athlete Streams Online.
Yeah.
I know you're going to have the launch in about 6 weeks, and
Yeah.
maybe we can touch on it real quick, and that'll be our sign off.
Yeah, thanks. I would love to touch on it. I mean, I can't say too much still about the date and the time of the event. It's a very exclusive event. It's in April. And we're just so lucky to have on board some big sponsors. Like, we do have Palm Beach Media Group, Palm Beach Illustrated, Provident Jewelry, Brayman Motor Cars, Old Palm Real Estate, Morgan Stanley Palm Beach. Patrick, shout out, great friend. And there's some other things that are coming together. Keenability, way down south, Coconut Creek have just been so supportive and in helping to piece together bits and pieces of how this event will lay out. But we're just ultimately raising awareness to online university scholarships and this new platform that is Athlete Stream Online, ADO. It's really positioned to be the athlete eligibility center of the world.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. Again, pure faith in God's timing and total trust in the timing that God is letting this lay out, because when you try and physically force things too much, I think this goes for all sport too, but sometimes you don't understand how you're training harder, you're working harder, and things aren't working out. But you've just got to be able to find that balance, where you're putting in just enough. But again, the faith can provide strength that you're not going to get.
You didn't even know was there that you were practicing.
For real. All that strength from our creators within us all, and so to have faith in that, and that you've got that ability to go out there and do these things is really important, I think.
Especially globally.
Yeah, it is, because sometimes, the visions can be too, they can be seemingly too big, to even discuss with lots of different groups of people, or so it's so it's a bit before talking about every student athlete. We're so accountable to every student athlete, and we'll carry that through into ADO for sure. It's funny, I was working out earlier at LA Fitness. We were mentioning LA Fitness before, but shout out LA Fitness Wellington. I was working out there. I saw, an elderly gentleman I know from Trinidad. He was in there working out too, and him and his family have the radio there, and we were already been talking for months about cricket scholarships in the Caribbean. The West Indies cricket team is a very strong cricket team internationally, and
sports translates no matter where you go.
Yeah.
So there's
so
just a love.
Yeah.
There's just a love.
It's just the timing and again, God willing, there's just phenomenal interest gathering around the organization, and just really special people that. Growing up in Australia, I just feel blessed to be here and to have met them and to be interacting in these people's lives. It'd be like if we're down in Australia and you guys were with me down there or something. You'd feel where are we, kind of thing. So I'm always very aware that this is home. I love South Florida. I'm proud to be a Floridian, but still somewhat a guest.
Yeah.
And so humbled, blessed, and to be here. Looking forward to it.
I tell them the Australians are like our cousins.
That's how we feel. I mean, we do. We love the Americans so much, and it's awesome to be pulling this event together. And I think what's exciting is what will come after it.
Yeah.
And the relationships that will come out of the event, and then therefore the direction that ADO will be able to take. I sort of touched on the Caribbean project, but just in the last 6 months, the interest that we've had from athletes in Kenya, Ethiopia, Ghana, reaching out, and a lot of those athletes in those countries, realistically, it's very tough for them to get to the States to go NCAA.
Yeah.
And so, for ADO to be able to bring university education to them in Africa, to be able to deliver it to them online, it's something that it pulls on my heart, and God has just compelled me, exhorted me to be here and keep pursuing this mission. And I'm really looking forward to people being like, "Where's Ash?" And I'm busy getting my knees dirty in Kenya playing soccer with the kids. For real. Real on a mission,
awesome.
Missionary type work. So.
Yeah. Well, then after the party and after it gets launched, you're coming back to really dig deep.
We'd love to.
Really dig deep on
3.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. The three-peat.
Yeah, the three-peat. Yeah, guys, for sure.
No, well, you'll be at the party, Alex. And
Yeah,
so
awesome.
We'll enjoy the evening.
Yeah, thank you guys. Well, tell everybody real quick where they can find you online and where they can find you on social media. What's the best way they can get in contact with you?
Absolutely, guys. athletestream.com is our website, and at Athletestream Co. on Instagram.
And Nic _athletes dream. That's either one of those.
Yep.
You will get within the hour. Somebody will.
And
be
what's your
contacting
mobile
back.
cell number, Nick?
561-633-5993. It is always on. And guys, seriously, we give a free consultation. If you're
Absolutely.
not sure, we will help you find out what your best direction is, best path, what we think academically or sports. Like we're here because we love it, and we're good at what we do, and we look forward to helping the next Tiger out there. And if you're not the next Tiger, we'll help you too, because you're good enough.
Yeah.
Chances are you're good enough.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
People sleep on themselves, and we're here to kind of shake people awake and bring us the diamonds in the rough.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let them
Bring
know
'em.
all the options. Yeah.
Bring them.
Absolutely. So yeah, as Nick said, we're here to talk. You know, we are here to talk with you and your parents. I think it's so important too. If you hear from us on Instagram, you know, we always say make sure your parents know we've reached out, but you know, always show them our Instagram, show them our website, and we're here in West Palm. You know, probably with the international time zones, sometimes they're really are 16, 18-hour days sometimes.
Sure.
You know, speaking to people all around the world. So
Being tired is just part of it.
yeah,
That's why God invented coffee.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
For
that's
sure.
it. Yeah. So we're here, and we look forward to meeting you all more. And
Absolutely.
huge shout out to Alex, and
Yeah, man,
and
thank you so
thanks
much.
to Elevated Lifestyle Lab
sure.
for
Yeah.
having us again.
Absolutely, guys.
It's
I
a
really
blessing
enjoyed
to be
it.
with you, man.
Yeah,
So
thank you guys. Thank you guys for
Appreciate
coming
you.
on. Thank you for sharing your dream, your passions,
Yes,
and
sir.
we'll do it again for the 3-peat.
Oh,
Thank
yeah?
you, sir. Looking
Yeah.
forward to that one.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Nick.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Alex.